All right, y'all. I've got an interesting situation here, and this is one that you can call it app madness. Today is Friday, January 12, 2023. It is overcast, and there's some weather that's supposed to be coming in. But getting to the point, I am on a Bungii order in which I am returning items back to the store because the customer refused delivery. But let me back things up and share with you why this is app madness. What many of y'all don't talk about, but what I've been aware of for a long time, and so maybe I'm introducing it for the first time, at least to the Get Geezer audience. Many of these apps compete. I'm going to say actually compete for opportunities for business, and many of these apps have delivery opportunities that are dispensed to them, for lack of better words, from an aggregator called OneRail. I talked about OneRail, and I didn't have anything good to say about them. OneRail is like, on the catering side, Easy Cater. Many of the last mile delivery opportunities that go to these apps come through OneRail, and then OneRail, being the aggregator, kind of shoots them out to various apps, being DoorDash, Uber Eats, Point Pickup, GoShare, frayt. I'm probably missing one. Synpex. At least five that I'm aware of in my market. There may be others, but just know that OneRail dispenses them out, and then OneRail themselves try to farm them out within their own app. I try to introduce OneRail in terms of where I was trying to get people in the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area, and other various parts of the Carolinas, or South Carolina, that is, in which I might be able to dispatch out delivery opportunities. The reason why I no longer even mention OneRail is because OneRail took 7 weeks to pay me. It should have been 30 days. It took 7 weeks before they finally paid me, and I was done with them after that. Not to mention, the pay is horrible with OneRail. So now OneRail is in business because they are the aggregator. They dispatch delivery, last mile delivery opportunities, again, out to DoorDash, Point Pickup, Uber Eats, Lyft. In fact, Lyft is another of them. Synpex, frayt, GoShare. So that's seven apps, okay? And so what happened was, I picked up, I went to a Lowe's, and by the time I got the items out to my van, I got a call from frayt following up on this bad boy, asking, well, what's your estimated time of arrival? What's your ETA? I told him it'd be about 30 minutes. Didn't think anything of it because I've had a pretty good relationship with frayt. I just don't talk about frayt in name, but I have to talk about frayt in name today. This order was on Bungii, as I said. Now, as y'all know, this segment of the Get Geezer, this segment of the Get Geezer, and this segment of the Get Geezer all do not speak well of Bungii. But this particular order opportunity kind of made sense. $43.54, 147 pounds, something that I've done like on a roadie with Home Depot. In fact, that's another app that order last mile opportunities are kind of farmed out by OneRail. OneRail also sends them out to roadie. So that's 8 apps. So this kind of reminded me of a Home Depot delivery opportunity that I've had, or multiple delivery opportunities similar to this one. So I get to the customer location, and he comes out, and I say, I got your items, and he's looking at me like, you're gonna help me with them? I'm like, no, because this is not a room of choice opportunity. It would require, it's requiring me to carry something more than 20 feet beyond my vehicle, which is a Bungii policy. You're not supposed to deliver anything beyond 20 feet of your vehicle unless it's room of choice. And then if it's room of choice, then you're obligated to deliver it wherever the customer asks you to place it. So he's like, well, if that's the case, then I want you to return the items. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll return them. But as I explained to him, this was actually supposed to be dropped off to the front door or to the side or garage, and that's it. That's all I'm obligated to do. Yeah. So now you're seeing where this is app madness. Now I know that I'm kind of talking real kind of fast in a sense because I'm driving back to the store, but also I am kind of recounting things somewhat still in the heat of the moment. But I think that hopefully y'all can appreciate this. Now, here's the other thing. There's two other things about this. Customers are always looking to get over on you. Always looking to get over on you. And so you got to be mindful. You know, I'd mentioned in this segment of the Gig Geezer about dealing with brokers, how they're trying to get over on you. And so you have to speak up for yourself and not be timid when it comes to trying to get additional monies for the trip opportunities or the load opportunities that you actually complete for these brokers. The same thing goes in situations like this. When the customer is asking you to kind of do a little more than what may be required of you, and it's not something that is expected of you with an app, then you have to speak up and you have to speak up and be resolute with what you have to say. Whether they get mad or not, that's not your concern. Your concern is also doing the things that are required for you of that app. And this is one where if you see here the screen, if you see here the screen recording, this is the actual interaction that I had with Bungii. But the other interesting thing about this is that as I drove back, frayt calls following up on this. And I explained to them that, hey, this is not a frayt order. This is a Bungii order. And that this is what's happened is that while you said in that first conversation that you got to get back with OneRail about this, I explained that he was not familiar with Bungii apparently. And I told him, I said, look, OneRail is the aggregator. I understand that OneRail is the aggregator and that they are farming out opportunities to you and a bunch of other apps. And Bungii is the app that I'm having to deal with. And I explained to him what was their policy with this particular order situation. And I explained to him also that, hey, if this was a frayt delivery, frayt would have just required me to drop it off at the front door or what have you, or the first dry spot or the front door, something to that effect. It's either the first dry area or the front door, and you be on your way. If they refuse it or not, that's not your concern. So I'm about probably less than 5 minutes away from arriving back at the store. I will get back with you once everything is wrapped up. Now, as you notice here, I actually show documentation of me unloading something, okay? It's very awkward, as you can tell. It's all pieced together, but then there's a still shot of me actually returning the items inside Lowe's. But, hang on. Hold all tickets. Here is the denouement to all this. Here is the ending to all this. Alrighty. I am done with returning that order for Bungii, and my total compensation on that was $73.07. But you know what? I'm gonna say it's April Fool's early, in that here's the reason why frayt had called me. It had nothing to do with Bungii. I had a geezer moment today, an absolute geezer fucking moment, and the reason why frayt had called me earlier was because there was an order that I had earlier in the afternoon that was still open. And they're calling to find out, well, what's my ETA on the place? Because I hadn't closed it out. And then another guy called me and he's like, man, I don't think we're talking about the same order. It's like, you just contacted us about closing out an order, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's because I just noticed on the app that I had forgotten to close it out. And I sent a picture of it as proof of delivery. And it's like, oh, now I see why y'all been calling me. It's because I forgot to close out the order. I had a geezer moment. I know it's the first time for everything, but oh man. So Bungee's off the hook, Frayt's off the hook with the app madness. It's Geezer with his madness today. He's had a true geezer fucking moment today. Now I hope y'all get a laugh out of this today, because I'm getting a laugh out of it, or a gas out of it. That's what we used to say when I was younger. I hope I've gotten a gas out of this, because I'm thinking one thing, and when they called me, I was in Bungii mode. Because I know that One Rail does dispatch the orders out to everybody, but it has nothing to do with neither of them. They called me about the order that was still open, and basically 3 hours later is when it was finally resolved. And they're like, oh, don't worry about it, man. We'll take care of it from here. We understand now. We understand what happened. So if you like the madness that was shared in this segment of the Gig Geezer, but if you like the content in other segments of the Gig Geezer, hey, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane, and as always, may your grind and may your hustle, even in situations like this, continue.